Humans, there are many truths on this planet that we all live by regardless of species. Look both ways. If you heat something, it gets hot. Round things roll. Glass breaks. And don't stand downwind of the porta potties at Ribfest on the weekend if you don't want to get hit with some concentrated ass around the 3 p.m. mark, because the fest starts at noon on Saturdays and Sundays. Nature's simple guidelines for us all to follow, easy to remember, easy to pass down to future generations so we don't have to explain why you don't lick a light socket. Because if you have to explain to someone why you shouldn't lick a light socket, they're better off finding out for themselves. But on nature's great Excel sheet of shit you do and should do, the one direction that glows brightly for us all to instinctively nod in agreement with, because it is indeed a fucking fact of nature, is when you gotta go, you gotta go. Birds do it, bees do it. In fact, when they do it, it's called a cleansing flight, which I think should be used in casual conversations more often. They do it outside because they, too, acknowledge nature's suggestions and don't shit in the hive. You do, humans, because you're lazy. And you don't remember that you can pause the show for a fucking second to take a cleansing flight of your own and give your plumbing parts a little longevity, because you gotta go. And when you gotta go, you oughta. So, instead of keeping the party outside the nest, you decided to make it easier to kick out the jams in the home studio and then send them on their way, out of sight, out of mind, and atmosphere, downloaded and uploaded to the great brown cloud in the sky, saging your homemade ghosts with Febreze, getting back to whatever you were watching. Must be nice. The best us birds can do is wait until you wash your car. And believe me, we are watching. And if you don't like it, don't park in my shitting spot. It's that simple. It's instinctual. It's nature, baby. We all gotta go when we gotta go. And sometimes you gotta on the go. You humans travel a lot. A lot of scientists, whom I just don't have time to go into because, like I said, we gotta go, believe that the reason your species is naturally nomadic is because you never liked having convos by the loaves you pinch. So you move on to the next spot. And that's part of your DNA these days, the wanderlust after busting grumpies. Some of the more entertaining members of your species, as in those that entertain, even turn that into an advantage, taking their shit on the road. And thanks to the miracle of modern plumbing, if you're prairie dogging on the move, you don't have to stop somewhere to park to pop some bark. You can just blow mud on the highway, getting to going while you're getting where you're going. Such was the case on August 8th, 2004. How many of you are not from Chicago? Okay, that was my crowd work. That's it. Those of us in the Chicago community know that date very well. For it looms large, hovering just above our heads, a great Lovecraftian brown eye in the sky, always waiting and watching as sure as the seasons change, wafting on the pre-autumn breeze, because it's the anniversary of the arrival of the great Dave Matthews dump bus. For those of you not familiar with our customs and Chicago ways, Chicago has 37 movable bridges around the city limits. One of them is the old Kinsey Street Bridge. Now the Carroll Avenue Railroad Bridge, because they had to close the original one down and build a new Kinsey Street Bridge, leaving the old one permanently in the up position like it died chugging Viagra. What is important about all of that is how I know all of that, and how most of us here in Chicago know it, because we took a voyage on Chicago's Little Lady for the architecture cruise. Basically, that's a boat that travels the Chicago River, teaching you the oodles of facts for days you want to keep for trivia nights along the river's edge. The buildings themselves tell the story, as do the bridges. But one particular was a hot living moment of history for anyone who voyaged on Chicago's Little Lady at 1 p.m. on August 8th, 2004. At the time, the Dave Matthews Band. You kids have probably heard his hornback yodeling dad fiddly rock, like if Blues Travelers scored some track for the Weather Channel in the 90s, on a Verizon commercial, or on your Spotify jam bands your parents used to shroom to day list. He was playing 2 nights at the Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy, Wisconsin. The band was staying those nights at the Peninsula Hotel in Chicago. Probably because they don't have fuck all to stay in East Troy, Wisconsin. Save camping sites at an American Inn by Wyndham in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, which is such a Midwesterner situation. Like you'll find a perfectly well-maintained Starbucks in the middle of a field with fuck all around it, and the parking lot is always full. You'd figure with Dave Matthews' melancholy highway vibe, they'd be into camping. But whatever, divas. They shacked up at the Peninsula Hotel in downtown Chicago. The drive up to Wisconsin about 2 hours, which is fine if you're on a luxury tour bus, let alone 5 of them, which is what they did. Because, like, DMB is a hefty setup. They're not your dad's band practicing in the garage. They're your dad's 7-piece emotional stoner groove experience that they travel to amphitheaters just to get away, man, because everyone around them at the office has just got so much to say. Now, I'm sorry to be dogging on Dave Matthews. He didn't do anything wrong. It was one of his drivers. Anyway, the DMB is playing 2 nights in Wisco on their way to Kansas after 3 nights in Florida, a stop in Nashville, and a stop in Ohio. All of this you must remember, or nothing that follows will seem wondrous. The Dave Matthews Band, the whole band, including Dave Matthews, played the night in East Troy, Wisconsin on Saturday, August 7th, caravan back to the Peninsula in Chicago, stayed the night in preparation for the next night in Wisconsin. The next day, Sunday, August 8th, the buses made their rounds, the band slept. The people of Chicago woke like they do every Sunday, hungover, and looking to take the family somewhere they can get a beer and some sunshine without having to walk very far. Chicago's Little Lady Tour Boat began its August 8th voyage at 1 p.m., taking off up the Chicago River, pointing out all the sights to see. But one sight they never saw coming. It should be noted at this point, the average Dave Matthews tour bus carries a septic tank that can hold up to 800 pounds of stink pickle. Because when you gotta go, even when you're on the go. The Dave Matthews Band were several humans that have to go when they have to. And it is a 23-hour drive to Wisconsin from Florida without stopping. You got to figure at that point, even the buses themselves had to dump some growlers that had probably been in there since Nashville. So, the driver, oh, hold on, it's going to get way worse. So, the driver of one of the buses figured he wasn't about to pay the 300 to 600 clams to empty the taters in the crock pot. So instead, as he drives over the Kenzie Street Bridge back towards the hotel, he figures, why not just crop dust the Chicago River? After all, the Kenzie Street, like most of the 37 bridges in Chicago, have a graded tops, as in they're great for dumping 800 pounds of Dave Matthews fudge and juice, which he did. Normally a victimless crime, unless at that moment you just so happen to be learning about the Kenzie Street Bridge from the deck of Chicago's Little Lady Architecture Cruise. 800 pounds of misty piss and black water rained down upon the passengers that day, I'll tell you. A legendary shit spray of liquid shame drenching those civilians in wet memories of life on the road. How many roadside taquitos, how much used Gatorade and Pedialyte cascaded upon them. Dave Matthews is famously a stoner who likes wine for breakfast. Imagine the horror of taking a heated Italian steamer of red wine to the face in your brunch clothes. Anyone that's ever been on the Bahama Mama at Hurricane Harbor knows the rush of taking that hard chlorinated spatter to the chin in the summer. Imagine instead a sizzling froth of hot shit came raining down on you with no bell, no horn, just a passing bus, and you're covered in crunch, and there goes the day. At least in the bathroom there's farts to warn you, to prepare you for whatever's next. But here there was no warning. Just an unstoppable deluge of duck chili while the bus above takes a minute to fucking chart and travel on, dropping a literal upper decker on the innocent sailors below. And so we remember this day, August 8th, 21 years ago, whence the Dave Matthews dumb bus dropped 100 pounds of Dancing Nancy splashing through the space between the Kenzie Street Bridge onto the people below, innocently under the table and dreaming. In the end, the driver was fined $10,000, got 18 months probation and 150 hours of community service while the people recovered. But will we? No. Chicago will forever wait on the anniversary to rise like the great Blumpkin from Kinsey Street, together in remembrance and honor. A 5th star on the flag, not red but brown. And Dave Matthews, well, he's still touring, he's still out there. Maybe he thinks about it. Maybe he pauses whenever he sings Don't Drink the Water. Maybe he shakes his head whenever he sees his Ben & Jerry's flavor magic brownies roasting in a cooler in some supermarket on the road. And as for me, well, I'm getting by, thinking about where I fit in all of this. If anything, I could take this as yet another attempt for you humans to try stealing our thunder, because we birds have been shitting down on you since the first time you washed a wheel outside and left it to dry in the sun. And maybe you figured, hey, we've been doing our dumps wrong. But I don't think that's what it was. I don't think it was that thought out. I just think when you gotta go, you gotta go. And now whenever I gotta go on a cruise on the river, I remember to look up, just in case a DMB BM might crash into me. Thank you, I love you, good night.
Oh my God. Soprano celebrity Chad the Bird. Indispensable.
Nailed it.